Hello, everybody. Welcome back to the part two of web development class, part two of HTML to be precise. Yesterday I talked about how you can push your code to a portfolio website like GitHub, where you can showcase your code and how you did the code, how you implemented the code. So today I'm back on my system. So I'm trying to know I don't have the folder at all on my system. I don't have the code at all on my system. So I'm going to show you how I can get that code on my system. So example, you just went to a company. You know a company has existed before you came into the company, and they gave you the link to their GitHub. It can be GitHub, it can be GitLab, it can be Bitbucket. But we're using GitHub for example because used the most used platform. They might give you the link to the GitHub page on how GitHub page for you to like continue coding. So how can you now download that code to your system? So I'm going to show you how to do that. So this is the one. This is the one that we started yesterday. This is it. This is the link. So for me to have this code on my system, so I'm going to like copy this this link. I'm going to copy it. I'm going to open my git bash, but before I open my git bash, I'm going to go to my desktop. I'm going to create the folder like I created yesterday. I'm just going to write web dev tutorial. So new week one. So this is the place I want to use this folder. So I could just right click, show more options. I can git bash here. Remember our git terminal where we can, that's where we communicate back to the GitHub. But if you can do it like this to open your git bash, look at it. This is slash desktop. That means my desktop is a folder called web dev tutorial slash the week one folder. You can just do it like this. This is easy. And another way you can do it is by opening git bash and routing to the place. So my folder is in my desktop, obviously. So I'll go to my desktop, press enter. See this, the name of the folder is called web dev tutorial. Web dev. I can just hit tab. It's trying to tell me, okay. See, I can just hit tab to show me the complete one. So I'll just click enter. Then there's a folder called week one too there. I'll hit tab, enter. You see it's almost the same thing. It's the same thing as the other one. So instead of doing all this CD and CD, you can just go to the folder here and right click, show more options, git bash here. You get it? So you just have to take your time in doing this. You can just watch this video over and over again. You will get it. So for me to have that code on my system, you know I've copied the link. So for me to have that code on my system, so I'm going to like clone the project. And how do you clone? Write git clone, then the site, the link. So I'm going to paste the link. So on this terminal, you use shift ins or you just right click and paste. Control V won't work on this terminal. So when I press enter, the cloning begins. And see that it will soon be done. So yeah, so it's done. Everything has done. So for me to go into the name of that file folder is called web dev begin. So I'm going to like cd into that web dev begin. So for you to even see all the folders in this folder, you can just do ls. So you can see that there's web dev begin folder there. So I can just cd into web dev begin folder and enter. So for it to open in my VS Code, I can just do this, C code dot space dot. it will open VS Code by itself. You can try it, you see that it will open VS Code by itself. Then just click enter. Just watch. So you can see that it has opened by itself. Yes, I trust. You can see this is what we had the other time in the last class. So now we can continue on our today's class. Though we started today's class already, you can see how to download the code from GitHub directly into your system. So what I'll be talking about now is tables. So let me just put a space. I'll put H1. So table. So for you to create a table, you have a tag called table. So you open it like this. So in a table, we have many tags under it. So we have table role, we have table data, and we have table headers. So as the name connotes, table role refers to the role. So let me see if I can get a table. So I'm going to just look at a table. So let's check for table. Not table like this. I need like an image. Let me just say an image of table for me to show you. Okay. Look at this now. Look at this particular table. Look at this time slot day 1, day 2. They are all a row. But look at how it is bold. Time slot day 1, day 2, they are bold, meaning that this is table headers, but they are all in the same row. This 7 a.m. section 1, section 2, section 3, section 4, everything like this is the same row. This is the same row, but each of them are data. This day 1, day 2, and time slot, they are headers. So we are going to do that now. So let's go back to our code. So we need our table role first. So we can decide how many headers that we want. So let's talk about the things our table should have. Let it have so we can let it have name. Okay, let it have, so it will be th. So this thing you just have to like watch it again and again. You have age and maybe gender. So let's open it up and let's sit in our, so it's another desktop, web dev tutorial, week 1, web dev begin, index. You can see name, age, gender, but there's nothing you can see. You can see like a table stuff. So what we can do is that we will add borders to it. So border would make it show. You can just give it 1. So let's save it and continue and wait to refresh. So you can see that we have the border here. Well, let's see if we can extend it. Let's leave it as width. Oh, it doesn't have width. That's in the CSS class. So I don't want to like bombard you with so many things. So we're in HTML class, we won't bother about width at the moment. So the first row, as we can see, is name, age, and gender. Is it here? Name, age, and gender. So let's see. Let the first one. I'm going to put my name, age, and gender. just somebody's name. Let's put, so that will be the next role. That will be the next role. And it will be table data, not th, because th is for the headings. You're going to have, it has to be three like this too. It can be more than three, but that will be in another, that's in its advanced stuff. So we just take it step by step. So I can say my name is Ayo, my age, let me just put a random age. The gender, I can just put male. Let me have another role. Let me have another role. So if you are wondering how I copied this thing down, I can just use Control D. Or no, the best thing to do is when you highlight it, you hold Shift Alt then down. See to duplicate. But that's by the way. So I just have another one. Let's say a day 25 and she's a female. So it's the save button. Come back, refresh. Let's check down. So you can see Ayo 20 is 20 years and his gender is male. And this is the second person, Ade, who is 25 and she's a female. So you want to create a table, this is how you create it. But you see that this is looking not alright. The table is having like two borders. But by the way, this is not in the class for that. This is just the basic HTML stuff. So in the maybe in the more when we go into CSS, we'll see how we can put them like a normal table and structure it properly. So I would want to like talk about CSS properties in HTML class. So let's go into another one. Let's discuss about button. Button is not other author, it's just a tag, button tag. So you can just close it. Let's say click me. So you can put here the type, the property is called button. So the button, we can have many types of this button. There can be a menu button, reset button, submit button. The mostly used is just the button and the submit button. That is mostly used. So but I'm going to use button here. But the submit button is used in a form. But I'm going to just use the ordinary button. So let's see how it looks like. Let's see the refresh button. Look at it here. Click me. As it, let me put a head in there so we can know. Button. So let's check it again. So if you noticed, I've been saving and I've been clicking on the refresh. So if you don't want to do that, we're hitting refresh all the time. So there are extensions in VS Code that can help you do that. So you can just head over to this place called extensions. Search for live server. Search for live server. So like this is it. I've installed it already, so you can just hit the install button. So after you have installed it, it might tell you to restart, so you can restart your VS Code. But you should see something at this bottom right that says go live. So you just hit on it. Make sure your default browser is your Chrome, so it can just work automatically. So I don't need to hit refresh again. So once I make any change, for example, I can just put the button here. It does automatically. No need for me to refresh. So let's check it. Hit the save button. Okay. Can you see? No need for me to like hit the refresh button. So we've done the button. Click me. So let me just remove this button here. So the next one I'm going to talk about is the form. Like you want to fill a form, enter your name, enter your last name, your first name, enter your password, stuff like that. So we're going to start it now. So let me just put an h1 tag of form. So we create a form by bringing a tag. It's called a form tag. We open it. So you can just put input. So input is a self-closing tag. So we put a type. So there are different types of input. You will see it now. There's number. If the input is a number, you use a number here. If the input is password, if it's radio, is it range, search, submit, is it week for date, is it for email, is it for a file, to upload a file that you see online. Well, we are going to deal with text. We're dealing with text. And the placeholder would be enter your first name. So it's a self-closing tag, so you just do this. So it does not have this closing tag like this. So it's a self-closing tag. So you can have enter your last name. Oh, what am I doing? Space. So you can just write enter your email, but this one will be email. See that? Enter your email. But the type would be set to email. So the next one should just be password. And enter your password. The type will be password here. So let's have a submit button that does nothing at the moment. Submit. But the type of the button would be submit. So in an advanced class, you will know what all this means. So for example, this form can have that, okay, once you have done everything, if you hit this submit button, you should check if your name is correct, if your password is correct, then log in. That's if you hit the submit button. So that validation, all of those things makes it possible when your type is in submit. So you understand it later, but just keep in mind about all these things. Just know. Let's just check on live server and see how it looks like. So can we see? Enter your first name, enter your last name, enter your email, enter your password and submit. But everything is on a line. You can see that. So I can just say this is Ayo, Ade, my email. So I'm going to put this, my password. You will notice that the password is having this dot dot dot. That's the function of the type. So when you put the type of password, it knows that it's a password, so it should not be same. And if you notice, if I clean everything, you will notice it's saying enter your first name, enter your last name. Those are the placeholders that we did here. So that's the point of placeholders. So for us to put this thing on another line, so we can have another self-breaking tag. I have, there was a breaking tag, there's a tag called breaking, like BR, just like this. It's going to break the line. It's a self-closing tag also, but this is how it is written. It does not have self-closing because there's nothing after it, so just like that. So that should work. Let me do this too. Oh, can you see? That is on one line now. But in some cases, you will have labels. In some cases, we would have labels. So let's look at how labels are being done. Okay. So labels are those things that just tells you, okay, first name. You see how it is now. Oh, it even showed me here. So label first name. So you can just go here, label last name, another one here. Let us put this BR so it can start in another line. So it can also be self-closing. You can see the slash too. Anyone works. Label for email, label for password. So you'd see how it is now. So let's hit the save button and check. So can you see first name, last name, email, password? Just like how you fill a form online, anywhere online, you will just say this first name. But if I hit on the first name, nothing happens. You see, nothing happens unless I click on the box itself. That's when something happens. But I'm going to show you how when you click on the this name, and it should just your cursor should just appear in the box and type what you want to type. So for you to do that, you have to give the four attributes. So in a label, we have the four attributes. Four. So you can just give it a, let's say, F name, meaning first name. But in this our place, you can just put name, F name. So why I'm giving it the same name is because if I click on this for this label, the cursor should appear inside this input. So it must have the same name. So it knows that when you click on this, it would also work here. Let us test it out. Okay, that didn't work. Let's see if we made any mistake. Okay, I think we have to also put the ID to be the same thing too. F name. Set it the save button and let's try it again. Can you see? Let's go back. When I hit the name or the first, anyone, it goes, the cursor goes into the name to type. Can you see that? So those are attributes of inputs. That's how you can maximize the use of and labels and inputs in a form. So I don't know if the classwork or the assignment is to do the rest for all this. So once I click last name, the cursor should appear here, email should appear here, and for the password. So you can just do that on your own and see if it works. So that this learning works by doing, not by only watching alone. Yeah. So it is possible for you to make mistakes, but you just know how to solve them. Just try it. You can ask Google for a solution. That's after you've tried. So the last thing I'm going to show you is how to link to another page. How to link to another page. First of all, let me create another HTML here. So you can go to this place, right click, new file. I'm going to save it about us. I think it's about us or about.html. So and that way we can start. We started this by putting this doc type HTML head body by ourselves. And that way to start HTML without doing all those things manually is by holding shift 1, just the exclamation mark, and hit enter. And you see it does everything by itself. Remember, this title is the title of a page, so you can just name it about us. Us. So I'm going to just add an h1 tag that says this is the about us page. A paragraph. So let me just follow what AI says here. This is the About Us page by a team of developers who are passionate about coding and building web applications. We are always ready to help you with your web development needs. So let's just open this About Us and see how it looks like. Always, Chrome always. And this is the About Us page. So how can we link it? So you know how we can do link using the A tag, the anchor link, the anchor tag that we discussed the other time. I'm going to have a link down. So let me just have an H1 link to another page, link to About Us page. I want to have an A tag of let me say about about page. So this href, we can just, oh, did I put htm? I forgot the L. Let me rename. Okay, that is saved. So for you to link it, you see that this href. This href is what we discussed the other time. Where do you want to link to? See this link, but this is not a link. This is this about.html. So you can just see if you see how I did it. I brought out these things. So you can just press Control Space Bar to open up this panel suggestions. It's based on this our directory here. So we want to link about us about.html. You just click enter, save, then go back. You can see about page here. So once we click on it, it should open about.html. Let's do that. Can you see that? It just routes us to the second page. See? It routes us to the about page. So another assignment I'm going to give you is, we are going to discuss about these assignments maybe tomorrow when we have our discussion. So you're going to do contact page and just wrote link to contact page, put the contact page, anything should like route the contact page. Just put a random heading and paragraph there. So, and this is it. Oh, before I forget, so we've worked on this. We've worked on some things now. So how do we push back our code? The changes that we just made, how do we push it back to our GitHub? Back. How do we push it back here? So the first thing to do is to open our terminal. So I think it's in just terminal, new terminal. Or in short, you can just press Ctrl J. See that? The first thing to do is to run git add space dot to add all our changes. When we do that, we run git commit dash m, meaning the message, then in a string. Then what do we want? What do we want? What did we work on? I say we worked on let's say created. Okay, so worked on tables, table, label, input, and new page. Close the string, hit enter. So the next thing to do is to push git push. That means to push it online. Make sure you're in the same folder, you're in this folder, and this is also saying you're in this folder too. Can you see? Alright, so git push. So that's, hold on a second. So that has pushed. So we can go to our GitHub page to confirm that exact repo. This is it. So that hit the refresh button. Can you see our about.html, the commit message just now that we did it. So this is how we can push our code online so that other developers can see it. So we're learning about the best practices, not only that you are learning HTML, but the best practices, the modern way to write code, push codes online. So with that being said, yeah, this is the end of part two of web development class. So make sure you study hard. You research also some other tags because HTML tags is as if it's endless. Research because we most things that we work on is the H1 tag, paragraph, the anchor tag, the image, and all of that. With that being said, so that's the end of today's class. Take it easy. Bye and bye bye for now.